Hello, fellow photographers. Welcome to another episode of the Planit Photographer's video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I will show you how to use the Milky Way feature. So to get the Milky Way feature, you can drag down from the title bar to see the Ephemeris page chooser, and you can select these two Milky Way pages. The first one is the Milky Way Center, and second one is the Milky Way Seeker. The difference is if you know which day you want to take Milky Way photos, you can use the Milky Way Center because on that page, it's gonna show you what it looked like on that date. If you're not sure which date to go to, but you know what kind of Milky Way composition you want, you can use the Milky Way Seeker feature. So that's the difference. Let's go to the Milky Way Center page first. The Milky Way photography is getting very popular these days, and it is certainly not the easiest thing to get a Milky Way photo. Planit app can certainly help you to do the plan. And if many people try to take a picture of Milky Way for the first time, they will always ask one question: what does Milky Way look like tonight? In this app, have no previous experience of Milky Way, you can find a very easy answer. So I'll show you how to do that. So first, let's find a location you want to take a Milky Way. And to pick a location, you need to find a location that is dark enough. I'll pick the Glacier Point, which is the overlook Yosemite National Park. So the first thing you need to do is you set the camera at this location. Tap this plus button and select the set the camera location. Once the camera location is set, all the calculation on the Ephemeris pager are using this location. Now, if you want to find out what the Milky Way look like tonight, just tap on this event button. So this is daytime bar, and on the right-hand side, there's an event button. Just tap on it. And over here, you see event cards. And not only has the Milky Way event, well, we also have those daytime event like golden hour, blue hour, sunrise, sunset. But from over here, you can tap to select this one. This is today's date, and this is the time that when dark light starts. When you shoot Milky Way, you need to find the time that is dark enough. So it's very important you see this event. And from here, you can see the moon set event. The moon gonna play a very important role when you're taking Milky Way photos. So that's why you want to know when the moon rises and when the moon sets. And over here, you see the MWC rise. That's Milky Way Center rises. And here, it even show you a different height of the arch. Like Milky Way arch at 20 degree. But in this case, the Milky Way Center was still at 7.7 degree elevation angle at the southeast. Then we see the Milky Way arch at 30 degree, 40 degree, and 50 degree. After that, the dark light ends. That's when you cannot see the Milky Way anymore because the sun will rise soon. So from here, as you can see, it lists all the important time, different scenario of the moon, different arch height, where the Milky Way Center is, all this kind of information in one screen. You can just take a screenshot of this and just put it saved in your phone. At night, just bring it up to take a look. That's answer the first question for some beginners. How do you find a Milky Way tonight? That's how you do it. Now let's take a look at the Milky Way Center page. So over on the first row, you see the Milky Way Center visible period, and you have the time here. This is starting time, this is ending time. Total duration is 4 hours 31 minutes. And on the second row, you see two ranges. The first range is elevation range, which means during this period of time, the Milky Way Center is gonna rise from 0.1 degree to 23.3 degree. And the azimuth of this Milky Way Center is from 127.8 degree to 183.1 degree. And let's realize that on the map first. Let's now press on the time to set the current time to this time. That's when the Milky Way just rises. You can see here. This is a big dot. The biggest dot, green dot, is the Milky Way Center. And you can see here, that's an arch. And you see this gray circle over there? That's whenever you see a dot on the circle, it means it's at elevation 0, which means it's at the horizon. So right now you can see this dots are very close to the circle, which means it is very low on the ground. When I change the time to make it higher, you can see now the Milky Way Center was at about 30 elevation angle. This circle is 30 elevation angle. So this one, the elevation, this one was the Milky Way arch at 30 degree. And you can even make it higher. Now it's 40. just take a look at this one. Or you can see the events over there, Milky Way arch and 40 degree. And then you see 50 degree. And then you see the Milky Way is gone because it's getting bright. So you can see, that's how you visualize the Milky Way over the map. For most people, it's not easy to visualize that on the map because this is actually imagine you're viewing from the top. But people like to see what it looks like when you're actually on the ground. And this is how you do that. You tap mode change button and select the focal length first. And over here, you can select what kind of camera lens you want to use. Let's say I want to select the 14mm lens, which is the wide angle lens I can have. Then you tap this button again and select the viewfinder VR mode. Just tap on that. Now you see that's what the Milky Way look like as if you're taking a picture of it. So this uses 14mm lens. Over here, you see this is the Milky Way center, and those dots are just part of Milky Way. And in the center, we use the green to indicate the Milky Way center. And over here has a longer arm than this side because if you look at real Milky Way, this part, it is longer. It's wider than the rest of it. So from here, you can get a very nice visualization of what the Milky Way look like. In addition, we can also visualize the arch. And how to do that, you can tap this button again and select the panorama tools. So here you go. Because for Milky Way arch, you have to take a panorama, basically taking several pictures, each one you rotate at some degree, and then you post-process and merge them into one photo. Then you get a whole arch. Because the Milky Way arch is always 180 degrees, so from here, when you touch the ground, over to here on the side, it is always 180 degree. So when you select 180 degree and over here, and we typically, let's say I use a 14mm lens, and I'm gonna use the portrait orientation. It tells me I need a 4 shot. After each shot, I rotate 40 degree. Here, you can also set the percentage. For Milky Way arch, I usually use 50% overlap. That's why I have over here. But you can change a different one. Some people prefer bigger overlap. That's okay. But I typically suggest people to use 50% because that overlap is big enough for you to post-processing. You can overlap more, but then you have to take more pictures. And keep in mind, the Milky Way is moving. So if you're taking a long time to take a whole panorama, once you finish the last one, from the first one to the last one, maybe there are several minutes gap. The Milky Way gonna move a little bit. It will cause some trouble when you're post-processing. So try to finish it as soon as possible. And over here, you can see that's what Milky Way arch look like when you have this 14mm lens in portrait orientation. That's what it look like. We can look at each one, take a look. So let's look at the Milky Way rise first. So this is when the Milky Way just rise. That's how it look like. The Milky Way center was right over here. The whole arch is still very low. And bear in mind, if you in an area that has night pollution, you probably cannot see this part because this part will be in the night pollution. It's too low on the ground. So next, when we see the Milky Way arch at 20 degree, that's what it look like. You probably don't need a 14mm lens in this case. So let's switch to the 24mm lens. And that's how the Milky Way look like in a 24mm lens in portrait orientation. And here it also shows you how many shots you need to take and what's the rotation after each shot. Once the Milky Way gets higher, let's say it's changed to the 30 degree elevation angle, then the 24mm lens is probably not wide enough. So let's switch to maybe 20mm lens in this case, and you can see that's what it look like. So this is what it look like in a 20mm lens portrait orientation. And here it tells you you need 5 shots and rotate 30 degree after each shot. As it's getting even higher to 40 elevation angle, and you need maybe 16mm lens, something like this. Now let's change it to 50 elevation angle. For 16 is not enough. You need a 14mm lens, and that's even not enough. Maybe I can adjust it like this, just taking more picture of the sky than the foreground. So that's what composition look like. Anything after the elevation angle and the 50, we don't take Milky Way arch anymore because that's way too high. And we usually switch to the one photo mode, which is this one, and take a picture like this. Maybe you have some foreground right over here, and it has a tilted Milky Way on top of it to create a nice composition. So from here, you can not only visualize that over the map like this way, you can also visualize it in the viewfinder. It is very close to what it looks like in a real case. And we know how many photos we need to take in order to take the panorama of the whole Milky Way arch. And we know what kind of focal length to use for the different time during the night. So everything was under your control. Even you take photo for the first time, you have all this in your mind. Just write down or take a screenshot, print them out to take a look at the night. And that's something you can certainly do before you're taking your first Milky Way photo. Finally, I will mention another feature. You plan to go to a place to take some Milky Way photos, but you haven't decided which day to go. There's a very easy way to find out. I mentioned earlier you can tap this event button to get to the event page, but you can also long press. Just long press, it brings you to a calendar page. And there are 4 different calendars you can see over here. Tap on the last one, which is a Milky Way calendar. So right over here. In the Milky Way calendar, we rate each night by 4 different ratings. No star, 1 star, 2 stars, or 3 stars. Based on the duration of the visibility of the Milky Way center. So for example, if I have 3 stars, it means you have more than 6 hours of Milky Way center, and there's no moon, guaranteed no moon here. And over here, you can see the starting time, ending time, and duration. It is more than 4 hours. So any night over here, you see it's more than 4 hours. But if you see 2 green dots, like 2-star rating, it means more than 2 hours, but less than 4 hours. Over here, say for example over here. So from this calendar, you can easily see in the month of April 2017, from 22 to all the way to 29 is the best period of time if you want to take a Milky Way photo without being affected by the moon. And you can go to next month, see that's from May 19 all the way to May 28. And each month has different ratings. And starting from August, you only see 2 stars, no more 3 stars. And if you go to August, September, October, there's only 1 star. And November, 1 star. And for the whole month of December, there's no rating because for the whole month, you cannot see Milky Way center at all. In January, end of January, you still see some. February, March. From April is the starting of the Milky Way season. That's what people normally see. And no matter where it is, just I mentioned, you set camera at that location, no matter it's in northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, then you can check the event page or the calendar page to see the details of that location. This gives you the first introduction video tutorial of the Milky Way features. And in the next video tutorial, I will show you some more advanced feature about the Milky Way. Thank you for watching. Until next time.